man is born free and everywhere he is in chains. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, The Social Contract. The idea of social contract is that as humans, we have some natural rights and freedom. We come together to form societies in exchange for protection and security, also pay taxes and obey laws. Now the question is, do we need governments? Some might say governments are instruments of class oppression and we are better off living in a classless, stateless society. Some might even point out that the formation of government and civilization as a whole might lead to the suppression of desires, leading to discontent. So do we need it? The idea of social contract is a very famous political philosophy purported by many philosophers like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Thomas Hobbes, and John Locke, to name a few. For some, humans are good and we come together to form societies based on social contract, and for some, humans are wild, crazy, and chaotic and need authorities and governments to put us in our place. In both cases, the idea of a social contract remains the same. Simply put, we come together to form societies, we give up our natural rights for benefits. It's important to understand, as Rousseau points out, that not all societies that are formed this way are legitimate, because for him, only a few have achieved the true social contract. The true social contract is based on the general will, that is the collective interest of the people. There are instances of imposed social contracts or social contracts based on false promises, where wealthy Machiavellian psychopaths use their power to create a social contract that protected their interests. In other words, make rules and laws to their advantage, which leads to oppression and inequality instead of progress and development as a society as a whole. So government have a natural tendency to degenerate into tyranny, as pointed out by many authors. Why poor countries remain poor? Because people in the political power make poor choices. Also, one of the reasons why there is a lack of development and rampant inequality is because of the corruption and nepotism in the institutions, as pointed out in Uncertain Glory by Amartya Sen. It is also the Orwellian idea that the high wants to remain where they are and the middle wants to change places. It is in human nature to form hierarchies. It is also true in the sense that government power is always at the arts of the people and expands its power at the expense of the freedom of the people. For example, more surveillance and less individual freedom. So do we need government? I would say yes, at least a form of authority. In this day and age, we are having so many black swan events like the internet, big data, AI, COVID-19, inequality, natural disasters, and cosmic events. So we need some form of authority or a government that protects us from these larger than life events. But we also have to make sure that the government doesn't intrude on our negative freedom too much. We need individual autonomy and the protection of civil liberties, but at the same time we need government for positive freedom, which is the presence of enabling conditions and the opportunities that allow individuals to pursue their goals and live fulfilling lives, like the abolition of untouchability and abolition of slavery, to name a few. But keeping those in mind, we have to keep the government's power in check, because as I mentioned before, it has a natural tendency to degenerate into a totalitarian, tyrannical state in the absence of checks and balances. So how do we keep the government in check? The answer lies in the social contract. The government derives its power from the people. So to prevent the degeneracy into tyranny, we need to concentrate the government's energy and ensure that the people remain vigilant and active in their role as sovereign, and make the government more transparent and accountable for its actions to the people. And that's it for now. I hope you learned something valuable. Thank you for your time and attention.